friendship that'll never ever end.
Run!
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Reaction Beanie Yo 360. Day in the neighborhood. My brothers and sisters, I've been waiting for a while now to get into this video with y'all, and the wait is finally over. And the channel that we going to watch this video is from our homeboy, Jose Ortiz, from Evil Intentions. Back to Jose, y'all. Hope y'all doing excelente out there today, and I'm glad that you came on back to the channel once again to fuck with the bean. In the title of this video, life ended by the person she trusted the most. The story of Alyssa Johnson. Now, I don't care, it can be your mama, it can be your daddy, it can be your sister, it can be your brother, it can be your lover, it can be your child, it can be a friend, it can be whoever. But imagine that person that you trust the most out of anybody on the freaking planet Earth is the one that end up murdering you. Like, you know what I'm saying, man? The person that you just thought would never in a trillion years would be the one to end your life, they the ones to actually end your life. This is gonna be crazy, y'all. This is gonna be a crazy one. But I know Jose gonna do an excellent job telling this story, and I'm excited to get into it, man. So that's what we're about to do. But before we do it, y'all know what y'all got to do. Get whatever you might need. Get what you need. We back to Jose Ortiz from Evil Intentions. Y'all got what y'all need. Y'all ready to go? Then let's fucking go.
My very first video on this platform, the way I decided to introduce myself as a content creator to everyone, was the story of Boytamelo McCallum, the beautiful and driven young woman who had the whole world at her fingertips, and it was all snatched away when her ex-boyfriend just didn't want to see her with anyone else. Since then, I've covered a number of stories that all have similar endings. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and today's story, in a lot of ways, feels eerily similar to that of Boytamelo. More than anything, I wish these women were still here to tell their own stories, but unfortunately, that's not possible. I want to give my condolences to the family of Alyssa Johnson, who we'll be discussing today, and I also want to give a special thank you to her mother Sandra for approaching me and asking me to do this video. And the reason for today's video is to raise awareness to the situation and make sure that this person serves their full sentence, since he might be let out free. He'll be free to walk around and live life like nothing ever happened. Meanwhile, this family is forced to live their days wondering what could have been when it comes to Alyssa. Any petition links that might be created after the filming of this video will be left in the description. With that being said, I do have to warn that today's video has a lot of details depicted in film and television that all show the significant impact of domestic violence. And also, the story we'll be discussing has details that may be very hard to sit through. So before jumping in, viewer discretion is advised.
Hold on, before we even jump in, Jose, I'm already pissed off. What you mean, bro? This man getting out in March, what did it say, in March 2024? Something 2024. What the freak? I don't even have the full details, and I'm already like, what the hell, man? Let's go.
I'd like to see Staten Island develop in a direction that hasn't been followed by.
In March of 2016, the normally quiet Dongan Hills neighborhood of Staten Island would wake up to disturbing news. News that a beautiful young woman lost her life right in her own home. The manner in which her life was savagely taken and the person responsible would leave those closest to her confused and grief-stricken. It's a tale we've heard time and time again, and it never gets any easier to listen to. Over the decades, it's been depicted in various forms of media.
And I see this man, and he grabs this woman by her hair, and then he drags her down to the ground.
Well, did you see who it was?
Oh, it was too dark. But I yelled, and then he took off, and then the sick part is that she limps off after him.
I mean, the only time you're affectionate is when we're alone.
What is this? So I'm supposed to put on a show for you and your skis fans, right?
Hold up, my friends are not skeezers.
Oh, so you the only one?
I've got homework to do.
Who you studying with? Don't walk away from
Hurting me, let go.
Who you studying with?
Let go!
What the hell is wrong with you?
What did I do?
Look at you, showing your ass to everybody. Hey, when every guy in school coming on you, is that how much you care about me?
Bobby, no, I wore this for you.
For me? You look like a slut.
Bobby, please don't be mad. I didn't mean to hurt
You want everybody to hear you? To see you cry? You want to embarrass me again?
No, I didn't want to do anything, Bobby. I wore this for you because I love you. Don't you remember you even...
Stop! What are you trying... Great. You happy?
Hey, fun fact real quick. That's DJ from Full House, and the dude is freaking Kevin from the Wonder Years. If you know, you know.
Now?
The scenes you just finished watching are taken from the sitcom A Different World, episode released in 1992, and No One Would Tell, released in 1996. In the episode Love Taps on A Different World, the story focuses on Gina, who's dating an up-and-coming artist. The man isn't who she thought he was. As time goes on, his violent side begins to show, and the abuse becomes more than obvious to her close friends, showing exactly how complicated and violent a relationship like this can quickly become. No One Would Tell is based off the true story of Amy Carnival, renamed Stacey Collins in the film, who was slain at the hands of her possessive ex-boyfriend with numerous red flags present. She tries to calm him down by reasoning with him, by trying to understand him and assuring him he's the only one that she could ever want. But when she's ready to leave the relationship because nothing works, the rage and abusive behavior her ex was known for would rear its ugly head, and it would all end fatally. Other movies like If Someone Had Known, released in 1995, show the never-ending struggles of a wife who's been abused by her husband for years, but she keeps it a secret from everyone around her, similar to the movie Men Don't Tell, released in 1996, which centers around a husband facing his wife's constant abuse and possessive behavior, with him reluctant to tell anyone because for some reason, people think domestic violence doesn't affect men, when in reality, it affects everyone. Whether it be through the endless news broadcasts that have aired on our evening news over the years, or the shows and movies seen on television, we've seen the horrors of abuse get highlighted time and time again. But believe it or not, some might see these scenes and think they're way over the top and created just for Hollywood. But the truth is, while these scenes are vivid, they barely scratch the surface. Domestic violence destroys families and affects just as many young couples as it does older ones. Approximately 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men will experience some form of domestic violence in their lifetime. A lot of times, there are red flags to look out for. Some of them easy to miss. Other times, there are no signs, leaving loved ones confused and heartbroken. Because in some cases, what was once thought to be a normal, healthy relationship could turn out to be the complete opposite, resulting in a tragic ending.
Medical officials are ruling the death of a young woman on Staten Island a homicide. Now her boyfriend is facing upgraded charges. Johnson's 23-year-old boyfriend, Jeffrey McDonald, now being charged with manslaughter. Neighbor says they seem like a happy couple, and he was shocked to hear about the incident.
She didn't seem like the wild type, and neither did he. So the fighting, it surprised me.
She was the definition of perfection. She was not only my daughter, she was my best friend.
Before you left the apartment, you propped Miss Johnson up against the bed and took her picture. It is one of the most disturbing pictures I have ever been unfortunate enough to see. You don't have an ounce of decency in your body. There are no words that can describe how depraved and despicable your actions are.
On today's episode of Evil Intentions, this is In Silence, the story of Alyssa Johnson.
Get whatever you may need.
And despicable.
And before we go even further, y'all, I just want to say too, man, that first little segment that Jose showed, it really just shows you how, and I've said it before, how movies and real life, it's a thin line, man. It's a real thin line, because all that shit we be seeing in movies actually be happening in real life. And a lot of times what be happening in real life, sometimes, you know what I'm saying, be even worse than the movies. That was just a great introductory, man. But let's get into the story.
Your actions are. But no judge in this world can actually sentence you what you deserve for callously beating Alyssa Johnson to death.
Alyssa Johnson was born on June 18th, 1992, in Queens, New York. She was born to her mother, Sandra, at St. John's Hospital in Flushing, Queens. At the time, the two resided in the South Ozone Park section of the borough, where they remained through most of the 90s. Since the day she was born, Alyssa was described as the perfect child, a beautiful, curious, and happy baby. She was intelligent beyond her years, something that was noticeable very early on. Sandra raised Alyssa on her own until meeting her husband, who helped. He was a father figure to her, along with Sandra's brothers. Toward the end of the decade, from 1999 into the year 2000, they would briefly live in the Cypress Hill section of Brooklyn. While there, Alyssa would attend kindergarten, but soon after, they'd move to 47th and 8th Avenue in Brooklyn, where she would attend PS1 for the first and second grades. In November of 2000, Sandra bought a home on Staten Island and they would settle there, making the island their new home. They lived in a very safe neighborhood, and Alyssa was enrolled in the best school district. Sandra let Alyssa finish the rest of her school year in Brooklyn, and she would take her to school every morning, making the journey via 2 buses and a train back and forth. Even when she was little, she shared a bond with her mother, and the two were inseparable. To help alleviate the long journey to her school, Sandra would transfer Alyssa to a closer school at PS 29 for grades 3 through 5. While she spent most of her time with her mother, she would also spend summers in Queens with her father's side of the family. She had friends in Queens and Staten Island both, inside and outside of school. Alyssa loved to learn, and since young also had a great relationship with her teachers, always on top of her schoolwork and always looking to excel. And she did. She was always top of her class, always attentive, and always handed assignments in on time. One of Sandra's earliest memories of her daughter was her learning to read at the age of just 3 years old. So her being a good student came as no surprise, and it never changed. She applied that effort throughout all her school years. When Alyssa entered junior high school, she would attend IS 27 in the West Brighton section of Staten Island. And when she was there, she continued her streak of being a great student. She would end up on the honors program at the school. It was also here that Alyssa met somebody who would change her life forever.
Alyssa was a smart young lady, man, young girl. You know what I'm saying, man? To be able to learn how to read at the age of 3, like, she was brilliant, man. She was brilliant.
In the 7th grade, Alyssa began spending time with a boy who was in the same honors program as her, a boy named Jeffrey McDonald. Their relationship was like that of a lot of young kids when they first start liking someone. Sandra didn't take issue with it because it was all very innocent. They did their schoolwork together, they were close friends, and the two would become inseparable. In 2008, Alyssa developed a severe case of scoliosis, a sideways curvature of the spine. It was so serious that she needed 2 blood transfusions, and her mother was able to help since they had the same blood type. After a serious surgery for the scoliosis, Alyssa would come home and had to spend the next 6 months learning how to walk again, one of the hardest things she would ever have to do. She was suffering through a lot of pain as she made the slow recovery, but having the support of her loved ones made things a bit easier. She still remained focused, nurturing her friendships and her relationship with Jeffrey, even though things were difficult. No matter what, she remained happy. Sandra kept a close eye and saw her daughter's friendship with Jeffrey evolve into more as they became older. After graduating junior high, Alyssa went to Curtis High School to attend a program for gifted students. Jeffrey went to Wagner High School, but the two of them, now a couple, would remain together throughout all of high school until Alyssa graduated with honors in 2010.
I'm talking about, bro, from 3 years old to all the way through high school, this girl an honor student, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this girl had, she had it. She was intelligent as freak. And not only with that, look at her. she grew up to be beautiful, a beautiful young woman, man. It's like, damn, man, it just hurts you so bad to know these beautiful souls can be taken away by these ugly creatures. You know what I'm saying? These monsters. It just hurts you, man. Damn. Rest in peace.
She would attend FIT that same year, and Jeffrey went to trade school. Throughout all of this, everything looked to be absolutely perfect between the young couple. As far as anyone knew, they were young and in love. True high school sweethearts. Jeffrey was always in Sandra's home spending time with her daughter. She thought the world of him. If it snowed outside, Jeffrey was outside shoveling for her and her neighbors. He was kind to her and her daughter. Alyssa wasn't the type to go out all the time or party too often. She loved to have her fun, but she was mostly a homebody, like her mother. She enjoyed being home, doing puzzles, relaxing with loved ones, this being a big reason for Jeffrey coming over so often. Her focus was her relationship, her family and friends, and her future. While she attended FIT, Alyssa majored in fashion merchandise management. Working on her fashion at home is where much of her time went. She worked 2 jobs while also going to school, never missing a day of either, and in 2014, she graduated from FIT with a bachelor's degree in science. Alyssa then began working at Bobbi Brown Cosmetics at the Staten Island Mall, a job she never applied for. A regional manager saw her working at a previous job sometime before and loved how she worked and interacted with customers. She assumed Alyssa was a manager and offered her a job on the spot. She would decline the position since she already had her hands full with school and her current work. At the time, Alyssa was working at One New York Plaza in Manhattan, the same building her mother worked in for 15 years. The woman handed Alyssa her card and told her that when she graduated, she should give her a call. Alyssa did just that, and the rest was history. Bobbi Brown Cosmetics would send Alyssa to school to learn to apply makeup, and she learned how to be really good at that too. Throughout all the eventful moments, she remained a tight-knit relationship with those closest to her. She and her mother Sandra were more than just mother and daughter. They confided in one another for everything. They spoke every day. They'd often travel to work together since they were going the same direction. Those trips to work together would become some of Sandra's fondest memories with her daughter. They were inspired by one another. Alyssa loved her mother's cooking and wanted to cook the same way her mother did, mentioning that cooking like her mom was a big goal, just one of the many things that she enjoyed. Sandra was inspired by her daughter's hard work and admired her dedication, as did many. Sandra had her concerns when it came to her daughter traveling home late at night. She worried that something could happen to her. She offered to lease a car for Alyssa, but she refused. She told her mother she didn't want her to have any more bills and said she would save up to buy her first car herself. She did exactly that. She saved more than $12,000 of her own money, and her uncle, Sandra's brother, took her to buy her first car, a 2012 Volkswagen Passat. She was elated and very proud of herself. She also still had a happy and love-filled relationship with Jeffrey. They were well known and were the perfect example of a great couple, as far as anyone could tell. The two of them were always together. While Alyssa was a homebody and didn't like going out and partying too often, one thing she did want to do was a little traveling. Her and Jeffrey would travel to places like DR, Puerto Rico, Cancun, and Florida. You see, she wanted to take a few trips before she started her dream job, working as a designer for full beauty brands. She ended up designing for huge brands like Victoria's Secret and Lane Bryant. The stress from all that schoolwork, juggling school and multiple jobs, it was all starting to pay off. Things were going great. Her mother and loved ones were proud. In her eyes, the sky was the limit, and she was ready for whatever came next. At this...
Hey, man, I just gotta stop it real quick just to give a shout out to Jose, man. Like, you can tell this man put in research. Like, he put in work to really make sure that he let his audience know exactly who these victims are and give us a great understanding of who they was as a person, you know what I'm saying, before they untimely demise. So shout out to Jose and shout out to Alyssa, man. This lady was a baller, bro. Like she was like just she was already at greatness, but she had no ceiling. Like it seemed like she could have went to infinity and beyond with the trajectory that she was on, man. Damn. But yeah, shout out to Jose, bro. Great job so far on this video.
Point at the age of 23 years old, Alyssa knew that everything in her life was going exactly how she wanted it to. She worked hard, she landed her dream job, she bought her own car with her own money, And now she knew that it was time to get her own place. She let her mother know that now that she had her career, it was time that she moved out of the home and got her own place with Jeffrey. Sandra was a bit nervous at the idea, because despite Alyssa being of age, just her daughter going out into the big world like that, it was something that made her a little frightened, because there are certain dangers that could present themselves. And this is something that's very common for parents to feel when their kids are leaving the home. She gave her daughter her complete blessing despite her concerns. But the last thing that anybody expected was that the greatest danger Alyssa would ever face was closer than anyone ever thought. And only 6 months after leaving her mother's home and moving into her own place, things would come to an unexpected and tragic end. According to reports, on the evening of March 9th of 2016, Alyssa went out for some drinks with a few co-workers. Nothing new and nothing out of the ordinary. After a fun-filled evening, Jeffrey would head into the city to pick Alyssa up. The two would then continue the evening with dinner and drinks. Also nothing new. They made their way back home to 585 North Railroad Avenue. The two were intimate together, and afterward, Jeffrey went to the bathroom to shower because apparently he had plans on leaving the house. Alyssa would follow Jeffrey into the bathroom where an argument began between them. It's believed that Jeffrey wanted to leave the house, and Alyssa didn't want him to, and she was very vocal about this. It's unclear what exact words were exchanged, but if we're to believe his recollection of events, she ripped the shower curtain off as he showered. The argument escalated, and this would send Jeffrey into a rage. At first, he would say he simply shoved Alyssa, causing injury, but the truth is, he unleashed a fury on her that ended her life. He would begin to strike Alyssa with brutal force, not holding anything back in the attack. Under the surface of her skin, not visible to the naked eye, she was covered in bruises, according to the medical examiner. As he beat her, one of the hits was made with such force that the punch severed an artery in Alyssa's neck, causing her to bleed internally. As Alyssa lied there, her life slowly slipping away, he would leave her there to slowly die, and then he left the home. Building surveillance would capture Jeffrey leaving the home at around 1 a.m. It would also capture him returning to the home an hour later. It was only then that he decided to call 911. He would tell the operator that he came home and found his girlfriend unresponsive, not breathing. It's unclear if he knew she was dying from his attack before he left her, but he surely knew that her current state was a result of him beating her. EMS arrived and Alyssa was rushed to the hospital, but it was far too late. She had already passed away when she was left in her home all alone after the assault.
This motherfucker. Bro, this man beat her pretty much to death and then left for an hour and gonna come back and lie to the damn dispatcher. Oh, somebody done jumped on my girlfriend. Motherfucker, you did it. And not only that, bro. Did you know you had killed her before you left? Or you thought she was still alive? Oh, she'd be alright. I'm just gonna leave for a little while and I'm gonna come back and then I might help her. Like, what the was this man thinking?
A few hours after Alyssa's passing, at about 4 a.m., Sandra would wake up to someone ringing the bell to her front door. Her immediate reaction was panic, since this is highly unusual. She made her way to the window that faced the front of her home, and when she looked out, she saw a car she had never seen before. She grabbed her phone and realized she had numerous missed calls from Jeffrey. This was also unusual. That's when she realized that the person ringing her bell was Jeffrey's brother, and he was there to let her and her husband know that Alyssa had been in an accident. Sandra called Jeffrey as soon as she heard this, and Jeffrey answered the phone, screaming, saying that Alyssa had been taken to the hospital. Sandra repeatedly asked what happened to her daughter, and Jeffrey responded that he didn't know. She hung up the phone, making her way to the hospital, trying to get there as fast as she could. Her husband would stay by her side. He didn't want to go to work until he knew for sure that Alyssa was going to be okay. They had no idea how serious it truly was. When Sandra and her husband arrived at the hospital, they came to see that Jeffrey's family was already there, but Jeffrey wasn't. They asked Jeffrey's mother what happened to Alyssa. Nobody had an answer, but the look on his mother's face said a lot. It was a face Sandra remembers vividly to this day. It felt like she knew more than she let on. She had no response. Sandra's son, Alyssa's brother, would ask where Jeffrey was and said he hoped Jeffrey had nothing to do with this. Again, There was silence. The worst thoughts imaginable were beginning to creep into the minds of Alyssa's family. Sandra went back to the front desk and explained who she was and that her daughter was in the hospital and she needed to know exactly what was going on. A few minutes later, she was brought to a bright room in the hospital and she was told to wait. "Why are you bringing me here? Please, take me to my daughter." The few minutes that passed felt like hours as the panic continued to sink in. Sandra's husband tried his best to calm her down, but she knew that something here just wasn't right, and she wasn't being told anything. That's when two men in suits with gold badges entered the room, and they approached Sandra. Her brother was a detective, so she was very familiar with what was happening. The detectives didn't have to say a word to her. In her heart, she knew her daughter was gone. As they explained that Alyssa had passed away, everything around her went silent. Shock took over, and she couldn't react. She couldn't even cry. She couldn't speak. All she could do was listen in disbelief. She wasn't allowed to see Alyssa at the hospital. It might have been due to the condition her body was in. Sandra's husband would burst into tears. The news was too much to bear. Sandra would then have to deliver the tragic news to the rest of her family, Alyssa's co-workers, and her closest friends. For Alyssa's best friend, the news was the worst thing that she could ever hear because Alyssa was killed on her best friend's birthday.
Wow. And this shit just, I'm stuck. This the part I'm stuck on now, y'all. The fact that his family, Jeffrey, Freddie, I think it's Jeffrey, his damn family at the hospital, his mama at the hospital, but he ain't nowhere to be found. You just like the dude from yesterday when we was watching from Mike. You're telling on yourself. Why the hell you ain't at the hospital, bro? You the main one who should be at this hospital right now. But you got your damn family here. Now, it sounded like also that the family may know that he the one who did this damn shit. This is just a fucked up situation all the way around. And I just hate that this beautiful young lady had to even go through this. But let's keep going.
The death of a young woman on Staten Island has been ruled a homicide, and now her boyfriend faces upgraded charges. The medical examiner determined that 23-year-old Alyssa Johnson died of blunt force trauma to the head and neck. She was found unconscious inside an apartment on North Railroad Avenue near Cromwell Avenue around 2 o'clock Thursday morning. Johnson's 23-year-old boyfriend, Jeffrey McDonald, is now being charged with manslaughter. A neighbor was shocked to hear about it.
She seemed so nice, and she was like shy. She didn't seem like the wild type, and neither did he. So the fighting, it surprised me.
According to sources, McDonald called 911 and told officers he got into an argument with his girlfriend and then left the house. Sources say he told police he found Johnson unconscious once he returned home.
Shortly after receiving word of Alyssa's passing, family and friends would gather at Sandra's home to support one another and try to make sense of what happened. Jeffrey's mother came to the home with his aunt to join the family as they grieved. At this point, Sandra hadn't been given any real details about Alyssa's death, since this was just a few hours after. She would ask Jeffrey's mother why he hadn't been over to see her yet. She couldn't understand how at a time like this, he was nowhere to be found. His mother's response was that Jeffrey was inconsolable. He was devastated by Alyssa's death and was in the company of loved ones as they watched him to make sure he was in the right state of mind. But things would quickly and shockingly come to light in the form of a news report on Sandra's phone. She isn't sure why, but something told her to pick up her phone and look at the Staten Island Advance website. It was here that the truth was printed for everyone to read, and the headline read that a man was arrested for the murder of his girlfriend. Jeffrey had taken Alyssa's life. She looked up from her phone with the reality of what she just read setting in. She looked at Jeffrey's mother and told her what she just read, and once again, there was silence. Sandra's best friend would tell Jeffrey's family to leave the home, and they did. It was now clear to Alyssa's family. The reason for the silence, the reason for all the strange looks, was because his family wasn't there to grieve with them. They were there to learn what Sandra knew, knowing full well that Jeffrey was the one who ended Alyssa's life.
Wow! What the fuck? Really? Really? See, that's crazy too, man. I don't know about y'all. But me personally, I don't give a damn who it is in my family. If I know one of my family members then killed somebody and they committed murder and they completely in the wrong, especially doing it in this manner like he did this girl, I'm telling on him. Like, real talk, man. I mean, I still got love for you. I still love you. But, dude, you ended somebody's freaking life. And these motherfuckers trying to cover up for him. Trying to see how much information that Sandra got, her mama got. See how much she know. Man, are you serious, bro? That right there let me know the whole damn family fucked up in a type of way. You know what I'm saying? If I put it to y'all this way, my brothers and sisters, real talk, and I know this 100%. I know this. Fuck believe. I know this 1,000% in my heart. If I was to damn call my mama right now and hypothetically speaking, tell her, mama, I killed somebody, I shot this man, and you know what my mama gonna tell me to do? If she don't do it her damn self, call the police. And if I don't call the police, better believe she gonna end up calling the police and telling them. Like, bro, my mama love me to fucking death. I love her to death. But murder is murder. Right is right. Wrong is wrong. Let's go. I know I just went on a little tangent, but let's go.
Since she wasn't allowed to see her daughter after her passing, Sandra would identify her body through a picture she was shown by authorities. The picture was small and just showed Alyssa's face, as the rest of her body stood inside of a body bag. The last thing any parent would ever want to see. On top of all of this, local news would continue to post pictures of Alyssa and Jeffrey together as a couple, angering her family because this was an insult to her memory. He was the one who did this. Sandra was able to contact local news and put a stop to it. This man she trusted her daughter with wasn't what he pretended to be. Sandra found herself in disbelief, repeating to herself that this nightmare couldn't be possible. Not Jeffrey. He would never do something like this. But every last part of his personality, his good deeds, the way he treated Alyssa previously, it all meant nothing. In cowardly fashion, Jeffrey would at first refuse to come out for his perp walk, knowing that her family was standing outside, waiting for him. He was a monster, masquerading as a decent person, and his actions spoke louder than any good deed from his past. Because of his decision to take Alyssa's life with his bare hands, her family would be forced to face day-to-day life without her, an indescribable grief they all struggle with to this very day. A service was held for Alyssa Johnson 6 days after her passing. Over 400 people attended the wake to show their respects. Her bosses and previous teachers, going as far back as her high school days, were among the many that attended. Her distraught friends would be Sandra's support system along with her family, helping her get through the hardest time of her life. Most of those who attended were very much confused, grief-stricken, and saddened that it would ever come to this. Many questioned if they missed the signs, but there weren't any. There were never any previous reports of abuse between the couple, and they were never known to fight or even argue. This outcome was completely unexpected. While this was already the worst thing Sandra and her family could ever experience, what followed was somehow just as daunting. As the trial went on, it would be a long and grueling 18 months.
Dang.
It was here that the details concerning Alyssa's death were made public. At first, Jeffrey tried to say he roughly shoved Alyssa's body into a wall, causing injury. But of course, the medical examiner confirmed this wasn't true or possible. He eventually admitted to striking Alyssa with vicious blows, causing her injuries. He meant to do this. It was also during the trial that disturbing new evidence would surface. 18 months after Alyssa's death, they were finally able to gain access to the files on Alyssa's phone. They found videos of Alyssa begging Jeffrey to come home as she cried. They also discovered that during Alyssa's last vacation with Jeffrey in Florida, the two had a fight, and Jeffrey locked Alyssa out of their hotel room as she cried and knocked on the door, asking to be let back in. A moment that displayed even further how awful he treated her behind closed doors. To many, it felt like Jeffrey wanted to live his life and see other people, but at the same time, he didn't want her being with anyone else. The brutality of this attack left everyone with questions. Why did it have to come to this? But the most disturbing piece of evidence came in the form of a photo on Alyssa's phone, shedding some more light on exactly the type of person Jeffrey really was. Sandra and her family would be shocked to learn that after Jeffrey attacked Alyssa, he propped her naked body up against the wall, took her phone, and took a picture of her. That photo likely capturing her final moments before he decided to let her die. During trial,
this motherfucker. Like, see, when they do this, go back to Mike from that. What's that, Mike? No, this was the Lazy Man on Monday. Lazy Masquerade. That go back to his video with the boy who killed his mama, then cut her head off, and then was holding her head in a selfie while he took a selfie. That go back. That's the same sick type shit, bro. You taking a picture of somebody in a final state. Either they dead or they about to be dead. Now, she probably was still alive, but still, like, what it proves, my brothers and sisters, long story short, short story long, what I'm trying to say, it just shows how much of a monster these people are. Not just the fact that they killing somebody, but the actions, the way that they do it, the things that they do after the killing. You know what I'm saying? It just shows how much of a freaking monster and just a human who don't deserve to be a human they actually are. You know what I'm saying? Wow, man.
trial, Jeffrey wore a shirt with Alyssa's face on it, as if it would take away what he had done, a complete disregard for her loved ones. And this would be only one of many mind games him and his family played. They tormented Sandra for years after her daughter's death. On one Mother's Day, Sandra received a bouquet of flowers. She thanked her husband for them because she had assumed that he had sent them. But he assured her that this was not him. She found this strange, so she brought it up to the authorities. And it turns out, they were sent from Jeffrey in prison. He would get his family to send Alyssa's mother the flowers, and they were captured on surveillance video doing exactly that. On Christmas, his family sent Sandra a Christmas card with a picture of Alyssa and Jeffrey. The card read, "She will always be the love of my life. We did everything together."
Okay, now the goddamn family. I know I don't think it's a way where we can charge the family with nothing. But y'all want to go to jail too? Like, do y'all trying y'all best to be complicit some kind of way? I wish it was some kind of roundabout way we can charge the family with something, because they getting damn ridiculous now. Like, not only is he throwing that he killed Sandra's daughter in her face, the family helping him do it. This is, like I said, man, something wrong with that damn family too. Ain't just something wrong with him. He grew up with some fucked up ass people.
His family would also continue to make social media posts about Alyssa and post pictures of her and Jeffrey together, as if they didn't know it was him who ended her life, saying they miss her so much when it was their own family who killed her.
Crazy.
Truly sickening. They had no regard for her family's feelings and only cared about showing support to a monster, someone who deserved to spend the rest of his life in prison. But due to it being ruled accidental and no prior history of abuse, Jeffrey McDonald was only sentenced to 4 to 12 years in prison. The judge presiding over the case would express his disgust for McDonald in a courtroom full of family and press.
Lily was the daughter every parent wishes for: hardworking, humble, loyal, courageous, funny, loving, kind, beautiful, and intelligent. She was the definition of perfection. She was not only my daughter, she was my best friend. Well, you get to speak to your mother and to your family. My daughter's not coming back.
So sorry for the pain I caused you. Sorry. This was the love of my life.
I just think the case can be summed up in 4 words. Alyssa Johnson is dead because you, Mr. McDonald, are a coward. The autopsy reveals that Ms. Johnson had blunt impact injuries to her head, neck, torso, and extremities. The combination of her injuries and level of intoxication indicate that she was virtually defenseless. She didn't bump into a wall and knock the mirror off. She didn't fall and hurt her face off the bed, or her neck, or her back, or her side, or her arm, or her leg, or any other place that she has bruising and hemorrhaging. She wasn't snoring when you picked her up, unlike what you told the police. She was probably dead. You batted a defenseless woman who weighed 107 pounds. You raised your hands to a woman, that makes you pretty low. In my book, that makes you a coward. But just when you think someone couldn't sink any lower than beating a 23-year-old woman to death, you proved everyone wrong. Before you left the apartment, you propped Miss Johnson up against the bed and took her picture. It is one of the most disturbing pictures I have ever been unfortunate enough to see. It's upsetting to think that you would take a picture of someone in that condition and she looks as though she's already passed. It's disturbing to think that you left a human being in the state she was in and just went out after taking a picture that you posed. Your lack of compassion is palpable. You don't have an ounce of decency in your body. There are no words that can describe how depraved and despicable your actions are. But no judge in this world can actually sentence you to what you deserve for callously beating Alyssa Johnson to death and forcing her family to grieve and suffer for the rest of their lives. You're sorry today. I didn't see an ounce of sorrow in that statement you made or in the police officer's testimony with regard to the night of March 10th. So I don't need any crocodile tears in front of me today. You are a coward. That sums up the case. So based upon your guilty plea to manslaughter in the second degree, your sentence is a minimum of 4 years, a maximum of 12 years. It's an indeterminate sentence to be served in a prison. Thank you. You're welcome.
And that was well said. That was just greatly said by the judge, man. That was beautiful, but but my emotions is so fucking high right now, my brothers and sisters. I'm so fucking pissed off, man, at this motherfucking bullshit, man. And man, god damn, bro, this shit crazy, y'all. This man got 4 to 12 years for this shit. They might as well not gave him no time at all. Like, come the fuck on. We got to do better, man. We got to fucking do better, man. This one got me so goddamn fucking hot. My fucking damn shit falling out my fucking ear, man. This shit so fucking fucked up, man. Are you kidding me, bro? Are you kidding me, man? Something got to change, man. Something got to change with this shit, man. 4 to 12 years. He did that try to do that little fake apology, crocodile tears and all this bullshit. 4 to 12 years. That right there just irking me to, man, that's gonna get on my nerves for a while, y'all. That is gonna get on my fucking nerves, man. That is fucking ridiculous, bro. Let's finish the video.
Oh, yeah, bro. You're a demon. I'm leaving. I'm going there. Okay. You're a demon.
Sandra attended every single parole hearing, expressing her desire to see McDonald serve the full 12-year sentence. But unfortunately, McDonald is now eligible for early release. Alyssa's closest friends would help Sandra write her impact statements, supporting her all throughout the trial and after, showing that Alyssa wasn't just a beautiful soul in her mother's eyes, but in the eyes of all who were fortunate enough to know her. Sandra would express exactly how she felt to Jeffrey, his family, and to the judge, fighting her way through tears. But the longest prison sentence possible couldn't bring Alyssa back.
True.
In the wake of Alyssa's death, her family and friends were forced to face a new reality, one where she was missing from their lives. Her passing would affect everyone she knew in different ways. Her best friend, whose birthday it was when her life was taken, would attend a Rihanna concert a few weeks later. It was a concert her and Alyssa were supposed to attend together. A picture was placed on what would have been Alyssa's seat, celebrating her memory. Alyssa's grandfather would often ask for her after her passing. Her grandfather suffered from dementia and also had a very serious heart condition. Anytime he asked where Alyssa was, they would tell him that she had gone away to school. They feared the news of her death would be too hard on him and that he may die once he heard.
Damn.
Sandra's brother, Alyssa's uncle, whom was a detective when she was slain, found it too hard to continue with his job. His heart just wasn't in it anymore. Alyssa's brother found it extremely difficult to accept his sister's death, tucking it away in the back of his head to help him move forward. Sandra suffers from panic attacks and has never forgotten the details of what took place in March of 2016. She couldn't work for 4 years due to what happened. She finds herself in a constant state of nervousness, knowing that while she's at the cemetery grieving for her beloved daughter, the monster who took her life can be free and with his family, living his life as early as November of 2023, roughly a month after this video's release. The horrors that Alyssa faced throughout her relationship with this man are some that no woman should ever have to experience. The person who did this shouldn't be free at all, but at the very least, he deserves to serve every last day behind those walls. There is no good behavior for something so callous and brutal. This person can roam the streets, meet someone new who has no idea about any of this, and he could do it all over again to another innocent woman. While his family celebrates and anticipates his early release, Sandra and her family are forced to visit Alyssa at her grave. Her memory lives on through words, photos, and memories from a better time. It's Sandra and her family that are left to pick up the pieces and live in a world where they can cross paths with this monster. It's Sandra and her family that are forced to think of what could have been as they think back to all those moments with Alyssa, a young woman who had the world at her fingertips. Every last thing, a reminder of who she was, her smile, her bubbly presence, her dedication to what she loved. Some things just far too painful to relive or be reminded of. Even just traveling to work, a heavy and harsh reminder of those trips Sandra and Alyssa would take together when she was still here. Sandra would stop taking the ferry into work altogether. She feels like she lost her life the day Alyssa was taken from her. She lost her best friend, her daughter, and because of one coward's rage, she will never see her alive again. Rest in peace to Alyssa Johnson, and my deepest condolences go out to Sandra and the rest of her family and loved ones. You aren't forgotten.
Oh man, you will never be forgotten, Alyssa. That's why I love these true crime content creators, man, because that was a celebration of her life in a roundabout way, y'all. Y'all know what I'm saying, man. At least because we would have never known who she was if it wasn't for Jose. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a way for us to get to know her and just realize how much of a beautiful person she was. But I just gotta keep it real, y'all. I am so fucking hot right now. Like, I'm boiling hot. Like, I'm steaming. Like, this shit is probably gonna bother me the rest of the night, man. Just the fact that this man could possibly be out in a couple of days from now. I remember when we first started watching the video, Jose said something about 2024 or something, but he already had alluded to that this man was going to be able to get out soon. But it's just after watching the whole story, then we get to the point of hearing that this man, after all this we done heard that him and his family have done, because I include his fucking family too, because they endorsing his behavior. You know what I'm saying? They behind him 100%. So I bring them up too. But after seeing all this shit that has transpired, we hear that this man got 4 to 12 years. I can't, man. I'm done. I'm done. And I'm holding back for real, y'all. I'm holding back. I want to say a lot of craziness right now. Like, I want to go the fuck off. I really do. But I don't want to do it for YouTube, man, because YouTube lately, boy, they be on you. They already on me anyway because of the cussing that I do. But YouTube, they seem like they starting to crack down on people talking all that craziness. So I'm not going to get too crazy, my brothers and sisters. I'm not going to get too crazy, man. I'm going to end it right here. I'm just going to end it right here on this note right here. Rest in peace to the beautiful young lady, Alyssa Johnson, and he gonna get what he deserve. He might not get it on this earth. I can't believe the fact that this man is finna be out free after doing this. Don't worry about it. Karma is a bitch. He gonna get what he deserve. He might not get it on this earth, but he gonna get it. I really do believe in that shit, man. And great video from Jose. Great video from Jose. You know it's a great video if I'm this emotional about it. So he did a great job, man. If y'all don't know a couple of things about Jose real quick, I wanted to bring up, but the story was so good, but I bring it up now real quick. Another thing about Jose that I love about his videos is the fact that a lot of those camera shots that we see, that's from him. Like, he be going out, like, you know, taking video and pictures, all this stuff he put in his videos. And he Also talk to the family members and stuff. You know what I'm saying? The family member victims and stuff. You know what I'm saying? He be in contact with them. So great job from Jose Ortiz, y'all. Long story short, story long, man. And I'm finna go and let y'all go. Before y'all leave, make sure y'all hit that like button. Comment, subscribe, do all that. And I'm just ready to stop talking about this, man. And I know this shit gonna be on my mind the rest of the night. Rest in peace, Alyssa Johnson. And y'all know I gotta say this. Love, peace, and happiness. Stay safe. Don't stop. Keep going. Yeah.